14,600.
6 in a beer bong at once.
They said Andre the Giant would drink a hundo in a sitting.
What'd they say? Wade Boggs. By the way, we're live. Mitch and Murray from downtown with Corey Kempema and Ben Crawford. Benjamin, Benjamin. Is that right?
Amen. Benj, amen.
How's it going, guys?
It's going good.
Doing great. Glad to be here.
Yeah.
Downtown, baby.
Yeah, it's fun, huh?
Live from downtown.
What do you think about the old office?
I mean, you need more trucks for all your truck flags.
I know, right?
What
What do you think about Lionel Richie?
I mean, who doesn't love Lionel? That's it.
Look at that mane.
Creepy and sexy. You don't know what to do with that.
That's the centerpiece of our cave here.
So
sweep the fucking leg, Lionel.
Right. We had Corey. Well, you were on probably, I don't know, a month ago, maybe 2 months ago.
A couple months.
Yeah, a couple months, I think.
Probably the most comments I get is from your episode. A lot of people found it. I think your honesty was candid and helpful to people, and I get a lot. Probably the most comments I get is on the Walmart story. But overall, you mentioned you were working with Ben, so we thought we'd get Ben on and kind of just see what Ben does and see how he's helping people and how he got into this line of work and kind of go from there, if that's cool.
Absolutely. I've gotten some comments myself, and I never rewatched it. But I'm glad it went well, and if my screwed up mistakes and crazy shit I've done helps some people out, then that's outstanding.
You still got that anger under control?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I still get angry, especially in high stress situations and stuff, but I know how to handle it thanks to this guy. He taught me some emotional awareness, and this is crazy because I really haven't told anyone that I went and saw a guy, but obviously I did, and here he sits. But it was different than I could have ever thought. I was thinking some Poindexter in a bow tie was going to walk me through some
Sit you down on a couch and lay down here.
And I was kind of like, well, fine, I'll go see him, people, but what if I beat the shit out of the therapist? Then where are we at? But it was really good. It was probably the best thing that I've done in my adult life to help me understand some things about how your brain works, how my brain works, and how to handle things a lot differently. So I wish I would have ran into him, 20 years ago.
You wouldn't have been ready.
It would have saved me some heartache. But yeah, that's the main thing. Would I have been ready?
Like the very last guy in the world that would take to fucking therapy. Really.
I wasn't ready 20 years ago either.
Ben, give us a little bit of your back.
Ben, 'cause I'm
Yeah.
loud.
Yeah, you are loud.
Ben, give us a little bit of just background history, kind of how you got started in this line of work, wherever you want to go with it, and we'll kind of follow your lead on that. I mean, just give us a little background.
10-4. So I was, I've been in sales for about 1 million years. Left my last job for somebody else, and a bunch of clients reached out and asked for help with little projects. Can you help my sales team? Can you show us how to sell more? So I started a sales consulting. And what I found is going in these businesses, it wasn't usually the motivation of the team or processes that were so broken. It was the CEO or the sales manager who were fucking bullies, right? And they felt alone. So I'd start pulling these guys to the side, and it turned into one-on-one coaching
With the CEOs and the
leaders.
Managers,
Gotcha.
The leaders. Processes and scripts are easy, man. I mean, there are a million sales guys who can help sales teams, and I love doing it. It's like autopilot now. But I don't do that much anymore because the people doing the most damage are wounded men suffering alone that lead others from a wounded fucking place. Their wounded inner child is leading communities and doing the most destruction. So I trained myself in neuroscience and psychology, or went and got the pieces of paper, which with the availability of information now, I'd never pay for those again. Mm-hmm. Nobody cares about my degrees. I got 1 million of them. But trained myself in how the brain works because, you know what? They were struggling, and so was I. Not admitting how I felt. I've always called this guy Corey. You guys call him Kemp. And he told me that the first time we met. Hey, call me Kemp. Never did. because we were changing the paradigm, rewiring the brain. He's always been Corey to me. So, like Corey, the only emotion I ever admitted I had, which is secondary, is anger. I wasn't comfortable being sad or afraid. I'm a man. Right? Nobody had room for that when we were growing up. The generation we were raised by did the best they could. Let's be honest.
They were raised harder than we were, too.
But they were raised by fucking savages who were raised by people during the Great Depression who would have 9 million kids. And when a couple of them died out of survival, what they would say is, one less mouth to feed. They never shed a tear publicly.
Right.
Then they raised all these hard-ass man up. We don't have room for your feelings. Be less yourself. And that is resistance. Dis-ease leads to disease. There's no fucking way around getting a heart attack, cancer, if you're not admitting your emotional well-being, if you're not facing it, embracing it. I mean, before we went live, you asked Corey if he still had his anger under control. And here's the deal. None of us are static. This shit changes. Things are going to trigger us. Are we avoiding it? Or are we embracing it? So I got into this line of work, and I'll never stop doing it. I got a million irons in the fire. I mean, I love staying busy. I love business. But this matters because men are suffering alone. All of us in some way. We need community. We need an outlet to be authentic and be real. No matter what our conditioning told us or how much we were told to bottle that shit up, man, it leads to motherfuckers in a clock tower with a rifle.
It's really hard to ever consider yourself being truly real. It's really hard to ever be truly real, I think. But really,
do you have any groups, sessions, or is it all individual based?
I do some group work. It's fairly uncommon because this is the only client out of a lot that I've ever had who would talk about. Most of my clients probably could use therapy, which is infinitely fucking cheaper almost. I mean, I charge a lot, right? And he got the bro discount because of the guy who brought him to me and asked me to take on another client. My book's not open for everybody. I'll give anyone suffering 15 to 30 minutes to see if it's a fit. But the last thing I want to do is take on somebody who's not hurting and ready to do the work.
What would you title your job as? And maybe it's not a job to you, but what would you, are you a life coach? Are you a, therapist? What, if you were walking down the street and had to explain it to me, what would you call it?
I'm a life coach, but what I really am at its essence is a guide that holds space for other men who don't want to be alone and suffer anymore. And it's amazing because, like I said, kudos to Corey for the bravery and the courage to open up about asking for help. Being at a place where he's like, I don't want to do it this way anymore. I've worked with a lot of people who won't give me a Google review under a code name. They're scared somebody might know that they weren't perfect before we worked together.
yeah.
And he said on the last episode, maybe they'll drop it in the link so you guys can check it out. It was a funny and awesome episode. That, oh man, my stupid brain, too many drugs. Not anymore, but
Statute of limitations.
yeah, statute of limitations up on that. He said if Ben was sitting here, he would give me all the credit. And this is the best client I've ever had and the most relatable to me. Our journeys were, I used to fucking, what are you looking at? And look for trouble.
Yeah.
I trained myself how to fight. I got in fighting gyms so I could fuck people up worse. Instead of realizing that we were trauma bonding and we both probably needed to fucking hug each other. But you know what? That's not weakness. You got to be enough of a man to say you're hurting.
Yeah.
And you need help, right? So what I really do is help people rewire their brain. And it's beautiful when it starts happening.
Tell me where you start in that process.
Asking a lot of questions. Why you here?
Nobody comes court ordered.
I don't know. No, I don't. No, nobody comes court ordered to me. I'm not a therapist.
Right.
I'm more educated than my therapist, but
Do you think they come because a loved one or someone they know is making them or asking them to come, or do they think they find you on their own more?
you know what? Yes, people come because their wife's going to leave them.
Yeah.
Because they want to try something before they get a divorce when the kids leave the house. So many people get divorced when the kids are gone, and the glue was the kids, right?
Yeah, right.
They're old enough to handle it now. But your wife or your family wanting you to change don't mean shit.
Right.
If you don't want it, that's the magic. And that's where that free first consultation comes in. I got to know that you want it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Otherwise, I'm going to fire you after 3 weeks and tell you to fucking come back when you're ready.
Yeah.
Right? So asking about the why. Why are you here? What hurts? What struggles? And in that first consultation, and Corey can tell you about his experience with this, I say we're going to get really uncomfortable. We're going to talk about things that you've never wanted to face before, because that's what's holding us back. Those are our chains. We're avoiding them, right? And so ask the questions, get to what the problems are, and dig in. The other day we had coffee for a couple hours, and he's like, dude, the whole time we worked together, I was wondering if you believed in God. And I do a great deal. Nobody knows that in our coaching. But before every session, I pray, I meditate, and I ask to be a vessel to receive messages. I say the weirdest shit. Like, you want me to say that? And every time I honored that, the client's like, I can't believe you said that. It's very custom for each client, depending on what they're struggling
Gotcha.
with.
So you said when you worked with Corey, are you guys, you not like regular sessions anymore? Or how's it work? You just kind of little maintenance, talk when needed?
He's kind of just, I'll go ahead.
And
He's just kind of open for me if something comes
you need.
up. And yeah, just for my side of things, nobody, like my wife and nobody said you have to go or else. Certainly was no court order or any of that. But some friends, you know, a buddy of ours that introduced us is one, but some other guys that I was talking to, they just kind of said, have you ever thought about it? And then I was like, no, you know, but I was so fucking tired. I was just being pissed off is exhausting. And you know, after probably 2 sessions, I started waking up and I was like, holy shit, like, where's all this energy and stuff coming from? And
the release.
Yeah. And the, you know, everybody that knows me is like, wow, Kemp's laying off the booze. So he lost all that weight. And I'm sure that has something to do with it, that I hardly drink anything anymore. So the calorie intake is certainly lower there, but it to me is all mental. I mean, it's just being a balled up, like high octane on fire guy all the time is exhausting and so freaking unhealthy. You know, before I lost all the weight, you know, I'd say 3 weeks in, my blood pressure was normal, and it wasn't from losing weight because I hadn't really lost it at that point. So that obviously is mental and calming yourself down and all that shit. My worst problem was, and Abby used to tell me this, and like I had a couple friends that they're like, we could see it coming, because I would just bury shit and bury it and bury it, and they're like the
escalating.
The volcano is going to blow.
If you guys just go ahead and grab the mic, if whoever's talking.
Yeah, sorry. And so that was my main thing. You know, I don't remember every session and everything he taught me, but I certainly have a handful of things that are in the toolbox that I do every single day. So
how long have you guys worked together?
So to answer your question in a roundabout way, when I started this, what we did together took about 12 months. And most consultants want to lock you into contracts for years. They want to show up like the Bobs from Office Space and take people off task.
Those guys rule.
They're the fucking worst.
I love them.
So I always would say, I'm going to work my way out of your life as fast as possible. I'm never going away, but I want to get you to the point where you feel good about yourself in the quiet time alone. So now most clients take about 3 months, 4 months max to work through like the shit. And then we go to maintenance. Yeah. And I mean, this dude is the most coachable person I've ever had. Everyone challenges me at some point, and I ask them to. If you don't like something I say it, because we're learning how to communicate. He never did. He just did the work.
Yeah.
Every bit of it from day one. And
do you give him?
He's been coached his whole life on different things. That probably makes a difference. A guy who grows up playing sports year round and being coached until he's 25. And
this is the first coach in history that said I was easy to work with.
I believe it.
Do you give him, after you have a session, do you give him tasks to do? And,
I issue challenges and I give them 3 options. Yes, I'll do that. No, I won't. Or make me a counteroffer.
Who coaches the life coach?
Dude, I had a great coach.
Who's the top life coach? That
good
must
question.
be the perfect guy, right?
Well, I mean, who's your favorite podcast guy that inspires you, that makes you change stuff? I have a coach that retired and a therapist, and young gal out of Sioux Falls who is different. It's like 3 months worth of therapy in every session. She's a weirdo, and I'm so thankful to have met her. And
isn't that so true, though? Sometimes it's just a different way people think, It can help change the way you think a little bit, because weird's a relative term, but, there's something there. When people that think differently, it makes them weird. I mean, that's kind of a negative term, but I like that. That's interesting.
Weird's a positive in my world.
Me too.
Yeah, I mean, normal's boring, but
yeah.
The fact that this is a 22, 25-year-old, 30-year-old kid
Really?
that I came in with an openness and willing to learn from after knowing everything my whole life, till I could finally be brave enough to admit that I didn't. We can learn from anyone. If I'm coaching a sales team, I'm learning something from the newest guy on the team. Mm-hmm. And if you think you know everything, you've stopped growing.
Absolutely. No doubt about that. So you go to that girl in Sioux Falls no more, or it was just a one-time thing, or?
I'm kind of on maintenance now. She told me I didn't need it anymore, which is wild. I mean,
What were your biggest challenges? Anger?
Self-worth, anger, defensiveness. I mean, there are a million people who will claim to know everything about me who don't know shit about me. They know the mask that I've worn.
Yeah. That's what I was trying to say earlier. Don't we all wear masks all the time, pretty much, don't you think, in a way? Or am I just way off base?
We do. And how heavy are they, man?
I don't know. I guess it must catch up on you or something. I don't know. They are pretty heavy, actually, yeah.
My neck started hurting, so I had to do something about it. Wearing this mask and this wall of what am I safe portraying and letting people know. And now, kind of a weirdo who will let my light shine wherever I'm at. And if it makes you uncomfortable, there's a reason.
Yeah.
It's an opportunity, right? Where do we grow? When you're lifting, I used to power lift. I was a competitor in a million things. My growth is when it hurts.
Yeah.
Those last reps.
You have worn a lot of hats. And I've known you for a long time, very vaguely, right? Like we never really got to know each other.
Knew of each other,
yeah. And, one time you were doing this, then that, and then this.
Well, hell yeah. Foosball was when I met you 25 years ago, or 20, I don't know, a long time ago.
Yeah, I was a pro foosball player. I played for a living after college.
That's rare. It's hard to do. It's almost impossible to do, really.
Dude, you got to work.
Yeah, you got to be top 5, probably.
When you see somebody that you admire, Michael Jordan, whoever, what you don't see is everything they do to get there.
They give themselves no chance for failure.
None.
The failure's not an option for those guys because they give themselves no chance. There's this video, you should both watch it. It's called Squat Every Day. This guy does this Squat Every Day program, and he's a fucking psycho.
Love him.
You've seen it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I watched that intro like probably twice a year when he's in that truck, and he's like, Michael Jordan, these guys, they give themselves no chance for failure. And that guy, when he's in the gym and he's doing those in his basement, doing those squats, he's like, yeah, I see people in the gym, doing half squats, and they ask me, didn't you squat yesterday? Yeah, I squat every day.
Every day.
That's badass, man.
Well, so
it's hard to squat.
Chris and I met in the basement of his brother's, unsanctioned freestyle frat house in Iowa City.
Oh.
And there was a foosball table. And I walk into the party and I hear boom. And I'm like, man, somebody's here. I want to play, right? And you caught me at the beginning of my
I don't remember this.
Yeah, well, I'm surprised I do. I think I remember it because you ripped the railing off the wall after we played a few games.
Where were we at?
And in the basement on right off Washington Street.
It wasn't my brother's place though, but it must have been a buddy's maybe.
Maybe Seth and Zach and Pat Johnson lived there.
Okay, yeah. So Matt Flannery probably.
Flannery,
and
yeah,
Luke
yeah.
was there. Okay, got
Yeah. Your brother was.
Now it's
there,
coming
my
back.
bad.
Now it's coming back.
So I'm like, hey, I don't have time for the.
You heard that ball slamming in the back of the little metal
snake,
pan back
probably.
there?
Yeah, I'm talking to some girl, and then I hear that noise, and I'm like, yeah, nice to meet you. I got some business to attend to. And, dude, Chris had an amazing 3-bar, the offense. Think of a forward in soccer.
Yeah.
So I've always loved hearing that, and I got a pretty good one, but my 5-bar, defense and offense.
I was never ever any good because I couldn't play good players with the 5-bar. I didn't have any.
No, and I frustrated you because I didn't let you get the ball and show everybody what you were good at.
Yep.
Just drilled him, and he wasn't used to losing.
No.
You ripped the fucking railing off. I thought he was going to hit me.
Oh, I don't remember that. But
Iowa City's a different animal. I mean,
I did not handle losing, and still, when I was younger, did not well at all. I had to consciously make myself less competitive as I aged because, yeah, it's good to be competitive, but there's also to be overly competitive. There's times when I prefer to lose, and I will lose. I will not compete as hard as I can just because it's easier than getting that worked up about it. So that's something I had to deal with myself is that, you're not the best at everything, and you got to figure that shit out, and you got to deal with how to lose. And I'm still not great at it, but I don't really give a fuck. It's just a fucking game.
It is a game, and I took it too. Man, I used to break second place trophies on stage.
How far up the chain did you get, man? Like in the.
Dude, I won some big ass titles. I beat the best in the world. I can't remember what number I got to.
What were you
I had
ranked in the United States? You remember?
Probably top 20.
Holy shit!
But I was winning. I was beating the best guys.
Yeah.
Drinking triple Jack and Cokes.
Jesus.
Fucking people's kids were following me around like I was it was a nightmare. Trying to bang the waitress at the tournament, get your kids away from me, man. Breaking it was awful. It was awful. But here's why I brought that up. Nobody saw me practicing my 5-bar for 8 hours a day.
It's boring as 5-bar.
It's excruciating. I will never practice again.
No.
I went to a tournament this year and got 17th in open singles. And I should have got higher.
You still
I didn't
got a
expect
table?
to. I do in storage, but I don't practice. I'll go to the tournament and let the chips fall. I don't have to win anymore.
Right.
I'm there to have a good time and enjoy the experience.
Gotcha.
But nobody sees the years of 8 hours a day of practice that go into this. And to close the circle on, not to get too far away from it, I could talk about foosball forever.
Yeah, me too.
Best game ever. But you got to do those reps to rewire the brain.
When I learned how to do the snake, I remember just hours, and I was bleeding. My wrist would bleed because I'd get the things you used to open pickle jars with, those grippy things. I'd wrap it around the bar just so I could learn how to, because it's not a natural feeling, how to do that snake. And I was just blood, but you're right. I never worked on that 5-rod because it was I tried a couple times, but I couldn't commit to doing those long sessions daily, which it needs. Everything requires practice, repetition, everything to be great. The best do.
It's so boring.
Mm-hmm.
And if you're going to be good at anything, emotional awareness, mental health, you got to practice, man.
Yeah.
What percentage of people that get in your life have substance abuse issues?
Well, do we count sugar and food as a substance?
I'm not sure.
Because it's usually our first addiction. It's one that I'm struggling with my whole life, but almost all of them are escaping in something.
Yeah.
I mean, porn addiction, alcohol, fucking the recreational 8-ball on the weekends, and then maybe that one doesn't last long enough, so it turns into quarter ounce. Everybody.
Yeah, everybody has something, right?
Everybody's got an addiction that they're masking their pain with and escaping.
You think everybody's in pain?
I think everybody is in pain and uncomfortable to talk about it to some degree.
Every person.
Every person. And I've worked with some women. I don't anymore.
They're
because,
different, huh?
well, they're not the ones in the clock tower with the rifle, man.
No, they aren't.
They're not the ones doing the biggest damage when they fucking take a swing.
They don't put as much, maybe they don't have as much burden, or they don't feel they have as much burden, the weight of the world on their shoulders. Is that what you're saying? Or is that difference in the sexes, or what is the difference?
They cry.
Yeah?
They're okay being sad.
True.
And increasingly less. Society is conditioning all people and kids to be numb. But women are for instance, the work I do with men, if I work with a man an hour twice a week to start, I need a half hour with a woman. And the list of the emotions wheel I give a woman has hundreds on it. I got to look up the one they picked.
Really?
With a man, I give them 5.
What are they?
Makes sense.
Mad, sad.
What 2 of them are.
Yeah, and none of. Yeah, you're gonna make me remember all 5 on the spot. Mad, sad, glad, scared. Dude, I don't have my notes, but
Okay.
I do this for a living, and I don't remember the 5th, and that's perfect example.
Yeah.
And then literally, I'm looking them up I'm trying to keep up with the emotional awareness of a woman. What I've coached them on is how to hold space and make men comfortable.
How do you decompress? How do you compartmentalize? Because you can't take everything, when you're trying to sleep in that, I'm assuming, right? Like, it's got to weigh on you. So what's the outlet you have?
Pray and meditate before, and I don't carry anything out of a session. I'm in my zone.
That's got to be hard to do, though.
You know what? I'm so glad you asked that, because me holding space for your struggles, it's not my shit to carry.
Yeah.
I'm there. I'm honored to be a part of your journey while we're here. And when that session's over, I'm gone. Mm-hmm. I do the notes right after the session, send them off. Here's your challenges. It's over. And I show up present for the next one.
Sure.
Presence is a key part of this, guys.
Yeah.
So let's do a little bit of a dive. The way the brain works is we have our prefrontal cortex, our flow state, when you're relaxed, when your decision making is sound. And then we perceive, our limbic system kicks in the amygdala, and we think that a fucking saber-toothed tiger is trying to eat us, and it's not. It kept us alive. The humans,
400,000 years of evolution.
the human race is here, but the brain was just that. The reptile brain, the monkey brain, whatever. It was your cerebral cortex coming up to a tiny little brain that was like, okay, great. Tiger's trying to eat me. Guess what? Your fight or flight state is meant to last 1 minute to 3 minutes healthily. Because if a tiger is really trying to eat you, you're either eating that motherfucker or he's eating you within a couple minutes.
Right.
Now what we do is stay in fight or flight our whole goddamn lives.
Really? Interesting.
And it feeds
I feel that.
It feeds big pharma. Your doctor loves you. Divorce attorneys are winning.
Yeah.
Right? Because we're not acting in that flow state. We're not in our right mind.
I believe that. I mean, it's just going to get worse, too. Okay, well, this is the question. How long do you think the human race exists? How many more years does the human race exist?
That's complicated because of tech. I mean, you guys are...
Give me a number.
Well...
Chris, what were our numbers, if we remember?
I think less than 1,500.
I think I put it like 250 years. Mine was significantly lower.
Yeah, it might have been like 200.
I'm going lower than 1,500, and I might go lower than 250.
No more humans left on the earth.
Yeah, because we have this destructive technology, and we give these fucking megalomaniacs the keys. They might fucking have a bad day, or their girlfriend says something they don't like, and he's going to show us all. Right? And there are too many really fucking wounded little boys that are grown-up men with power with their finger on that button. Like, somebody
It's
hurt
scary.
my ego.
Yeah, I mean, can't the AI get control of all the nuclear weapons on the Earth and just fire them at everybody?
Yeah, dude, when autonomous weapon
Somebody's gonna
technology,
survive.
when autonomous technology is coupled with drones and nukes,
Was there not just a hack of an AI, like self-hacked a satellite or something? I thought this was just like a month or so ago. Did it on its own.
I didn't hear about it. I don't
I
watch it.
vaguely remember reading or hearing about that too. AI scares the shit out of me.
It should.
I don't want no part of that crap.
Too late.
Yeah, it's everywhere. It's crazy.
I mean, I like it to do computer coding, but that's about it.
Yeah.
Ben, do you believe in aliens?
I do.
Attaboy.
Boo.
I do. I mean, I've spent too much time in the desert not tripping and seen them. So, I mean,
What about ghosts?
I
You
think
believe in
it's
ghosts?
crazy people that don't believe in aliens.
I don't believe there's aliens that have been to Earth, dude.
Oh, man.
There's probably life on some fucking planet, but no race, no civilization has mastered fucking time or light speed travel yet. That's my best guess.
Why is it easy to believe in aliens?
Really?
Well, I think
There's
Never
no
seen
proof.
one.
For one,
I've
I've
seen one.
for one, I think the government's been hiding it for
He believes there's proof. There's no
you
proof
know
where I believe it.
70 years. I think there is some truth to all these stories we've heard over the last however many decades. There's got to be some truth to it. It can't just be
It's just government testing new weapons.
no.
That's what I think.
I think there's aliens in storage, maybe probably living.
That is so not true.
So much like ghosts, I never believed in them until I lived in a haunted house where they were like flicking the light switch in front of me to fuck with you.
Yeah, right.
Dude, no joke. No fucking joke.
I would much rather encounter an alien than a ghost.
So I
Ghosts
was
scare the ghosts scare the
way.
ghosts scare the
Ghosts
shit out of
can't
me.
kill ya.
I think aliens are here to save our
you.
planet. I really do.
They can't touch you, right? Those ghosts. You lived in a house with a ghost for real.
they could move objects. So why can't they stab you?
Why did you ever videotape it or anything?
No, I was fucking shitting my pants.
Nobody ever videotapes that.
They
shit.
can't stab you.
And
Come
this
on.
was in Iowa City where we thank God didn't have cameras on our phones.
Right, right. That was the last great era.
So I sat in Show Low, Arizona with an old man out in the desert. I used to spend a lot of time in the middle of nowhere. And we're sitting out there looking at the night sky and some things that we don't have flight technology fly over us. A couple that looked like a battle of different alien races. No drugs, no drinking, like totally clear-minded, grounded. These things fly over and land 2 miles away. It isn't 10 minutes and we're 45 fucking miles from nowhere. And 6 black Suburbans pull up and ask us if we saw anything. And I'm like,
No way.
say no. We didn't see shit. We were looking at the lightning over here. What is something going on? Should we be alarmed?
They're gonna Men in Black you think?
Dude.
The Bob Lazar documentary on Netflix it has an experience
Bob
exactly like
Lazar's a
that.
hoax.
The goosebumps I have right now, I've never been more scared in my life.
I want to know. I just want it all to come out. I want the truth.
You want there to be aliens?
Yes.
If there was aliens, you think that Trump wouldn't say something? Come on.
I,
No president, no government official that has these aliens in a storage facility.
It's
in the
never gonna
desert,
leak?
They never told anyone? Like, that's not, no way.
No one
That's
can
not
keep a
possible.
secret. Secrets can't be kept like that.
Yeah. And ghosts are way more freaking doable. I can handle ghosts. But
You believe in
aliens?
ghosts?
you can't
Yeah,
see
yeah,
ghosts. How can you handle
there's
something
You
you
believe
can't
in
see?
ghosts?
Or spirits. I remember one session he said, you believe in angels and good spirits? And I said, absolutely. Like, you hear the stories, you hear the Lifetime movies come out where the kid's stuck in the tree and the angel comes and talks to him.
I believe those too.
I believe that absolutely, but then he said, well, do you believe in the demons and the bad ones all around you trying to get in? Then I paused because
Makes sense.
that shit isn't easy to, it's easy to say, yeah, the angel's here to help me, but it's not easy to say the demon or the devil or whatever is here trying to destroy everything. That sucks. So you don't want to think about that.
Those stories are. I mean, I believe everyone that tells a story. Like Dale Jr. tells a story when he was in a wreck. His dad had passed, got killed on a track, pulled him out of a burning car. Because I don't remember getting out, but I remember seeing my dad, and I know people that were in a car wreck, and it was a pretty bad deal. It was like 6 or 8 kids, and they remember seeing one guy that was just there helping all these kids out of these cars, and then he was not there, and it was one of their late parents. And that's believable, but all these people are in shock too at the time too. So you have to take that with a grain of salt for what it is. But I do believe there's probably something there because there's so many of those stories.
Yeah, and there's stories that, like,
why doesn't it happen all the time though?
even little kids, that were on the operating table or whatever, and they, Jesus or an angel held their hand and got them through it. Like, kids can't make that stuff up,
Right.
No, I believe they saw it.
Yeah,
in their mind.
Absolutely, I think so, and I think they're all around us all the time, and you got to make up your mind every morning which ones are you going to let in and which ones are you going to keep out.
It's a good way to look at it.
Yeah,
The old cartoon on the shoulder.
yeah, it's realer than, or it's more real than you think.
More people probably need to take like that first 15 minutes, out of bed and center themselves for the
Take
day.
a cold plunge.
Yeah, one of my biggest things is, get up. I used to get up and I was an early riser, and then I was like in a constant red line speed. Like, I got to go. I got to get showered. I got to go. Get the hell out of my way.
Gotta go 75
Why
miles
am I
an
the
hour?
only one in this house that feed these fucking dogs? I ain't got time for this shit. And, I got to be at work at 8 o'clock, and it's 5:30 in the morning. And I think I'm going to be late.
Hey, Kemp.
A lot of stuff to do yet.
When you were here for the first podcast, one of the things you mentioned, one of the first questions Ben asked you was, how was your drive here to this session?
Yeah.
How fast did you drive, or how was your drive? And you're like, I drove fast, And
then he, just simple shit like that. He's like, why? And I was like, I don't know. I always wonder why these people won't get the fuck out of the way. But, why am I? I'm not late.
Such a good question, though.
Usually,
why?
I'm wired that way too.
The craziest thing or one of the things that stands out when talking about, he asked me, you take a nap every day? And I remember thinking, how the hell would he know that?
Nobody takes naps.
And I said, yeah, almost every single day, even if it's, I remember getting home from work and then, Abby would be like, hey, we got a game tonight. We got to go to the basketball game or a football game or whatever. And I was like, I need a quick 20-minute power nap. And I could sit in the chair and fall right asleep and then wake up and then, okay, I feel better now. I got some energy. And I was sleeping 6, 7, 8 hours a night. So what was the deal? And I think I was redlining it all day.
Yeah.
You woke
That's
up
right.
in the red and you went to bed in the red.
That's the analogy you made. That's right. That's good.
And that really resonated with me. And, now when I get up, I actually feel energized. But before the first thing I do is I get up, and I think you can start your day with such shitty thoughts like, fuck, it's raining, or the dog pissed in the kitchen, or, why don't these kids pick up their frickin' clothes, or I stubbed my toe on the...
Yeah.
Or you look at your email and you got 6 emails you got to, get to.
And my big thing was my phone would be like, ding, ding, ding.
Oh,
and I'm
I hate
like,
that.
these motherfuckers, why don't they leave me alone?
Silent, bitch. Put it on silent.
And but now I sit up and I don't touch my phone. My phone is like 8-10 feet away from me now. I sit up, and before I have coffee, before I shower, before anything, I sit up and just say to myself, like, what am I grateful for? And what a game changer, because as shitty as stuff is for people, there's got to be something. Hey, you're alive.
Yep.
Hey, I hate these bills, but thank goodness I have the means to pay them.
Right.
Thank goodness I have a job. Hey, I'm stressed out because my kid's at college. Hey, but you know what? Your kid is at college, and he's getting an education, and he's doing good. And so I really learned to, it seems so stupid and simple when I say it out loud, but like, see the bright side of things.
You still cold plunging every morning?
Not every morning. I kind of narrowed that down to, I get into the sciences with all that shit now, and
no one's into it more than you, the science.
I know, I do. I
love
research it. I read it. They say when you give something up, you become. And I don't know if I was addicted to booze, but I certainly did it enough where it would seem like it. But they say, when you give something up, then you take something else on, and I kind of went down the rabbit hole of holistic medicine and wellness and peptides. So it's certainly, it's better than a lot of other things, but it's very interesting to me how the human body works, and that all started with the brain change for me, and how you just notice everything. Now on the way to work, I told you guys this last time, I'm just putzing along at 56, 58 miles.
Set the cruise.
People are freaking zipping around
35
me.
when
You're like, this is how it used to be for naps.
Wow, that fucker's going to need a nap this afternoon, or they honk. I'm like, geez, he's so pissed off. 6:30 in the morning, that guy's pissed already. And
that was you.
then I was like, fuck, that was me a year ago. But it's, the relationship with my wife is better. The relationship with my kids is 1,000 times better. And it was never like terrible. They, I never smacked them around or anything like that. But my tone and my patience was the problem.
I had a conversation with Ray a few weeks ago. She was with Emma at my parents' house.
Yeah.
I said, "How's your dad doing?" And she was, making fun of you a little bit. She's like, "God, every morning he wakes me up at like 5:30, asks me if I want to go to the track and go for a walk or run with him. And every morning I tell him, no, leave me alone. It's like, he said he doesn't shut up anymore.
Yeah, Logan, I was at the track just the other day, and Logan drove by in the pickup. And he's like, hey, Dad, you want to ride home? I said, hey, kid, you want to get out and fucking run?
Yeah.
And he was like, well, I'm out of here. And I was
That's
joking.
never going to change.
I
You're
was
still going to push
joking.
those kids till the day you die.
Yeah, I'm hard on them, and
You're not hard on them.
And I always, I always tell Abby, like, that's how I wish, my dad he was a good dad and everything, but he was like, I don't give a shit if you go out for sports or not. If you don't, you're going to work. If
Right.
you do, I'll give you some leeway. But I mean, it wasn't like he was like, come on, let's make you the best you can
Right.
be.
Right.
And not because he didn't want that, just because that's wasn't a
important,
priority or an importance. And so I try to push them to, because they're talented kids. They both are, their physical attributes
Yeah.
and
Yeah, they were gifted.
and all that. So I always say, don't waste those talents. God gave you those, and it's your job to use them. And they have. I'm very proud of them. They're very good kids, smart, good grades. But what's crazy is, the sports is what I always preach to them, but probably the proudest I've been of both of them have been non-sports related, Last year at prom when Raylan walked that gal down, and people still comment on that. Like, that's a big deal, and, it shows you're raising a decent human being.
Yeah.
And I think they're
In spite of us.
in spite of ourselves, absolutely, and Logan handling his stuff that he handled, you guys know about that. And I was just proud how he handled it. He didn't have a breakdown, and we didn't have to go rescue him. He got a hold of people that helped him, but he kind of took the bull by the horns and handled his stuff, and he was in a bad, shitty situation there. And he got himself out of it, and now he's in a better one. So I was proud of him for that. And so good kids, even though I was a hard ass and kind of had an angry tone for a lot of years, they still love me, I think, and everything. But the communication is what's so much better. We used to communicate sports only.
Right.
Like, the most talking we would do is when we're working out in the gym, or, there's still people in the neighborhoods. I remember when your kids were little and you were out there making them run up and down that hill. And, I was like, I bet they thought I was freaking nuts.
I have a little bit of that problem with
Sydney.
Sydney and I actually have probably the most communication out of my kids.
Yeah.
But the boys, and it's probably a boy thing, they don't want to open up or
Yeah.
share with you anything at all.
I think it just depended on the boy. I have one that'll tell me anything and one that won't tell anybody anything. So.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's unhealthy too, Go ahead.
So before we get too far away from the gold in this, I want to ask you the 15 minutes of quiet time in the morning. The first thing I do with every client is shift to gratitude, right? Because if we wake up with worry, man, there's shit coming today. You call in what your thoughts are, and you can't have opposing thoughts. Like, my life's great, my life sucks. You got to pick a lane. As complicated as the brain is, you can be in gratitude or scarcity. But could you spend 15 minutes alone without the brain rewiring? How hard was it before and after? And how soon did you start seeing the effects of putting intention into making different decisions and rewiring your brain? If somebody's stuck and scared, how fast does the change start? Does it take forever, or does it start happening right away? How'd it work for you?
For my case, I guess, like you said earlier, I was willing to do the work or whatever. So, when you would sign me something or told me to do something, even if I thought it was stupid, I was like, well, I'm going to fucking do it and see what happens. And if it doesn't do anything, then I can tell him on Thursday that his idea sucked. And
Right.
I just never ran into that, The first time, I woke up and was like about ready to go do my thing. I'm like, no, let's do the gratefulness thing. And then I did it. And then, I didn't think much of it, but, then it just seemed like everything slowed down after that. Like, I everything was calm, and meditation was never something that I ever could do. I'm like, I ain't got time for this shit.
Yeah.
And then, if I tried it, I would be like, well, I got to do this at work. I got to do this. I got to do that. There was no calmness. It was just sitting and my brain racing through everything. So,
We good, KB?
yeah, it worked quickly for me, but I think part of that is willing to try it with an open mind. My biggest problem, I feel one of them, was I was very close-minded. I know everything and nobody knows anything. Now, if you agreed with me, you were fine, but if you disagreed with me, you were wrong. There is no, and I remember, people would say, well, you think you know everything. I'm like, fucking right, I do. Why would I say it if I didn't think I knew that?
I've been there, done that.
And I tell you what, there's a lot of peace to talking to someone, and when they say something that used to be, my brain would right away go to "you're full of shit," and now like try to see their side of it. Why, even if you don't agree with them, they think that way for a reason. Maybe you can educate yourself and be a better person because of it. And I tell you what, I mean, everything has evolved from that. Like just not thinking I frickin' know everything. Like you said, and the ultra competitiveness and that wasn't just like in sports. That was like
everything.
I can drink my beer faster than you. I can do this. My kids want to race up the stairs. I'd shove them off the side rail and be like, "You lose."
I like the idea of keeping your phone, 10 feet away or in another room, because man, the moment I get out of wake up, I grab that phone, check my email, see if anybody texts me in the middle of the night.
It's not just the calmness of keeping that phone away from you. It's keeping the the electromagnetic pulses and stuff away from your frickin' brain. I mean, go down that rabbit hole.
I heard you're no longer drinking out of water bottles.
Yeah, I got away from plastic. And it's not like I'm like, ooh, plastic, but and if I'm in a pinch, I'll buy a bottle of water. But yeah, I ordered a bunch of glass containers. The average human has like a credit card size of microplastics pumping through their veins.
Can't get rid of it, can you?
I think if you're a billionaire, you can get a special machine that will strain your blood.
Wow.
If you go online and just say, microplastic filtration,
I choose not to go look at that stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting, and my biggest thing is now you're learning this and you're taking it all on, but you can't shove it down your wife and kids' throats, because that's what you used to do.
Yeah.
Now you can say, hey, try not to do this, and this is why. But it's oddly enough, talking to them in a calm adult type manner, they take it on a lot quicker than if, hey, do this because I say so type deal, It's just, it's so many times, and Ben's like, well, you just forgive yourself for some of this shit, because when I would learn something, I'd be like, wow, what a dumb fucker I was for 20 years. Like, why didn't I figure this shit out? Well, yeah, it's not that simple. You have to.
You had to get to where you were to get.
Yeah, and you have to do the work, and you have to be open to, maybe I don't know everything, and maybe my way is not the right way every time. And
you were fine up to a point until you weren't.
Yeah, it's not like I nothing crazy was happening.
Right.
I always kept a job. I never had a blow up at work and lost a job. I
never drank during the day or nothing. Still.
No, I never had to do any of that shit. I never lost it in a ball game and was screaming and got kicked out or any of that stuff. Surprising. I thought I was a few times, but it it was I didn't know like how my attitude and my stubborn anger was really affecting everybody.
How you are perceived too.
Yeah, like I said a little bit ago, my kids are so willing to talk to me now, and that's because they have no fear of me snapping at them. Like, like, how fucking stupid are you?
Right.
Now it's like, okay, that's a strange way to think, but I get why you're thinking that way, and maybe think this way. That's how I would see it, and then then you can kind of enlighten each other. But at work, I have a job that can be high stress sometimes, but I never snapped at work, and me and Ben talked about this a lot. Like I would bury all that, like I would be ready to flip the table over and just beat the hell out of someone, but instead I'd be like, hey, this is Corey, thanks for calling, blah, blah, blah. Everything's fine, yeah, let's talk, blah, blah, blah. But then that shit has to come out at some point, and I tried to mask it with running, or you guys know that story of a couple of years ago. I was 300 pounds, and
I think lose it all in one day.
Yeah, I looked in the mirror one day and I was like, you're fat. Like, I was just talking to myself, like, how'd you get so fat? I drove to Shields, bought a pair of Asics, came home. I said, I'm going for a run. 15 miles later, I came staggering in the house and
probably almost dead.
Almost dead. You can't walk the next day. And, Abby looked at me like, you fucking lunatic. Like, why didn't you just start with a half mile?
What'd you just do like about a month ago?
In terms of running?
Yeah.
But now I'm
But you had
good.
a vest on too.
Yeah,
you told that at the end of the story. I'm like, whoa, you should have led with that.
Yeah, I kind of lost my thoughts, and I had a distance in mind to go. I think it was like 6 miles, and then I must have just like got lost in my thoughts, and I was like, that's got to be the. I was at the track, so then you can lose track of laps and all that. And I was like, oh, I got to be done. It just feels like I've been here forever. And I went home, and then my Whoop or my phone or something was like, good job running today. You ran 17 miles. I was like, 17?
Did you run up the Titan Hill?
Yeah, and I finished that workout by running up the Titan Hill.
That's when you had to sit down?
And then when I got to the very past Scott's house, and then I got to the top there, I sat down and I just thought about puking a little bit. And
what poundage vest were you wearing?
It's one of them ion vests that Brecca recommends. I think it's like 17 pounds. It's not crazy heavy, but it's enough. That's another. I could get into that too. Like those people that wear those 50-pounders are knuckleheads. You're just hurting your back.
Do you wear that to work every day?
No, I only wear it when I run and walk and stuff. So I really bought into like the barefoot movement.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I've read that
grounding
book.
shoes. So if I go to the track, I'll wear like the high-end Brooks or the huge cushiony type shoes.
Because running's really pretty bad for a body our age.
Yeah. When I go distance though, like when I go down the path and run past Taggart's and the storage sheds and all that, I have everything mapped out.
How is that trail?
I love it. If there's unless there's like a dead animal down there from the road or something, then that's terrible. But they
not on the path though, is it?
Well, there's a deer fucking sitting down there one time.
Still alive?
No, it was dead. It got hit by something, but the county or whoever takes care of that got it cleaned up here. But I can just get in the zone on that path, man, and I have to wear this. You guys will get a kick out of this. Like somebody saw me the other day. They're like, "Why the hell are you wearing a sweatshirt out there?" And
Rocky.
Yeah, and the main reason is I put the hood up because I don't want to see vehicles and stuff. Because I think I saw you one day, or one of you, I can't remember, but
I'm not paying attention.
I was walking, and I was like, oh, man, that fucker thinks I'm walking this whole thing. And, I mean, that made me run for like 40 minutes straight. I'm like, if they're still watching, I'm fucking running. Stuff like that I still do. Is
good to know there's still a little old Kemp in there.
Yeah, there's some old Kemp in there, and, and stupid stuff like that.
I would still be impressed with the walk, really.
But it's a good path. I think, I don't.
How far have you gotten?
I've gone to C80. That's about a little over 4 there and 4 back, so 8 miles.
Have you ever gone north?
No, but I was asking Abby the other day, where does the north path start?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't
think they might wait till they get that new development done. They're just north of your folks' place.
Yeah, and so when I go to the track, I try to do like sprint stuff as much as a guy my age and stuff can sprint, but So call
Really?
it 70-80% running, just because of the benefits, and then run 100, walk 100, run 100, walk 100, and do that for however long. But
Is Gary Brecka considered like the godfather of peptides, or is that somebody different?
I would say he's not the godfather of peptides, but I would say he's certainly the godfather of like
Wellness.
human biology and how the body works and how the brain works. And
Has he been on Rogan? Is that where you found him, or?
I can't remember the first time I found him, but it was when Ray was going through her ailments, and I think we had done Abby and I, when we first started. I think I was just typing shit in about Ray, like, what about this,
Yeah.
what about that, and maybe he like popped up on a podcast or something. And then, but his very first podcast episode, I'd say everybody should. I think he's in like Sweden or something doing a talk, but he talks about the MTFHR gene, which Raylan is deficient in that, and that causes a slew of problems for people, especially in females. And I mean, I started listening and reading and understanding that, and I was like, holy shit, this is it. This is what's happening. And this is after we've been to Rochester and Lincoln and Omaha and Sioux Falls and
Iowa City,
everywhere else, and I tell you what, Abby's not happy yet. I mean, she's happy because everything's going good with Raylan, but like the way she thinks is like, we need a diagnosis and then a
solution.
fix,
So
and then a solution.
back up and tell people what's. I mean, she hadn't had that spasm for a while.
No, she's going on, and this is peptide 101 here, people. So BL 150 and
BPC 157/TB 500.
Yeah, so I'll just call it 500 and
There you go.
And one, or is it
157 500?
157 and 500. So one of the, and they kind of work together.
Yeah.
But the easiest way for me to explain it and how I understood it is it's like a joint and tendon recovery tool. A lot of people get shook about FDA approval and the whole peptide thing. I've done a ton of research on this stuff. Like I certainly have a fucking associate's degree on peptides, and I can go on forever. But this is stuff that the body makes naturally. So
It's already in you.
so it's already in you. So why is your body not making it? It's the reason is because of age or because of a mineral deficiency. So the way I approached it was, well, let's try this mineral stuff, but it's hard because you're like, well, you're deficient in these 4 things. Here's 4 of these.
Right.
Go on. Well, then you don't know what it is. So you really got to go step by step, one thing at a time. But since we got the peptide going for Raylan, she has not had a vibration in her foot. She has not had the claw lock up.
And that was a significant time that she had that, like over a year, probably.
Oh hell yeah, almost 2 years.
And
Almost
people
2
don't
years.
Understand it never.
It never
stopped
stops.
spasming.
Never.
She slept it spasm, and pretty aggressively from what I saw.
Oh yeah, she
You can see it with the eye.
she's down the hallway with the door closed, and me and Abby are in our bedroom. And I remember one night, this was a year ago or something. I was like, "What the hell is that noise?" It was like,
Up against the wall.
so it was like, and I was just like, at first I was like, that's one of the stupid ass dogs is banging his tail against the wall or something. And I got up and then I just kept hearing it louder and louder. I went into Raylan's room. She's sound asleep. And that freaking tendon is just
the wall.
no, just out in the open.
Wow.
Like I had to pull the comforter away, and that thing's just and you could hear it.
And it never stopped.
And it never stopped. Never. I would say it had to be, it's way closer to 2 years than 1.
Yeah.
Now, Doc Holton in town did a ton of really good work for her. That
Guy in Akron.
Tim Aller, that guy in Akron.
Wizard.
You got to get his ass in here and let
I'd love to.
him startle people. But those guys are amazing to me because they weren't just like, it's this, do this.
Right.
They were like I remember we had conference calls with Nick Holton on Sundays. Like that's how invested he was.
Right.
Like he didn't have to do that.
Did you go to Mayo too?
Yeah, we went to Mayo. We were there for 2-3 days. They diagnosed her with, I don't even remember what it's called, and I talked to some friends of mine that are in the medical field, and they're like, well, that's not really a diagnosis. That's more of a symptom of something. I can't think of what it is, but their way of fixing it was to give her Botox shots. Well, then you research that. Well, what Botox does is it basically, it's a toxin, first of all, hence the name, but it makes your muscles stop working. I mean, that's why all these women shoot it in their face, so it just kind of. With
the BPC TB mix that she takes, do you inject close to the side of by her ankle or just anywhere?
As close as we can. But it's done a ton of stuff for her. Like I think she was suffering from chronic inflammation, and I think a lot of us are.
There's gut stuff there too.
Yep, and there's
I've been
gut
saying that
stuff.
since day one.
It didn't work the first shot, did it?
It worked the first week.
Wow.
And I was ready, with talking with you guys. It was like, hey, it's going to take some time.
30 days. What I
yeah, it's not going to be a quick fix. And so we were ready for that. And I was like, look, it's, there's no adverse side effects.
Did she just wake up one day and it stopped?
I would say 4 days in it stopped, and she called me or texted me and it's like it stopped. And wow. Now it's like Dr. Allard over in Akron got it to stop.
Yeah, I remember it stopped before.
But it always would come back.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we're going on.
This is the longest it's gone since it started?
Absolutely.
2 months?
Oh, maybe 3, right, Chris? I think maybe.
We were at Mo's house after some event. That's when we talked about it. I don't remember what the event was, but.
And so that was when baseball season was still going on.
It might have been.
I think it's been 3 months, 2.5, over 2, I would say. And, she feels good. In that she's lost weight. And she wasn't overweight or anything, and she wasn't trying to lose weight, but your activity level goes up when your leg's not all fucked up all the time, and
then her hand, that had to be just a double whammy. What's happening?
That was probably the most terrifying thing during that. Was it Marcus?
It was a road game.
Yeah, Marcus.
Well, Akron was fucking terrifying too, but Marcus she was just running down the court, and all of a sudden she's like this. And she was like, Coach Leary, and I remember she played a defensive series out there, and
she couldn't open it.
I was like, what the hell is she doing with her? And we went to the locker room, and I'm strong, and you talk about, I tried to pry that open.
Couldn't?
No,
wow.
It was crazy.
That's when things got to be going in your mind, whoa.
Yeah, like what the hell is going on? And it's interesting how it all went. I remember being at a doctor in Omaha or Lincoln or somewhere, and it just, I think doctors are smart and stuff. I really do.
But they have a role.
Yeah, but you got to take care of yourself first and foremost, because this lady was like, well, she was looking at her tendon doing its thing, and she's like, well, make it stop. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me? If she could make it stop, we wouldn't be fucking here, lady. And
if you could make it do that, you got a special power.
But as mad as that made me, then I remember thinking to myself, well, you thought that a couple times too.
Sure.
Are you doing this? Now, I had an eye-opening moment when if she was just holding it like this, I'd be able to open it.
Right.
And B, she was sound asleep and that thing's thumping away. And it wasn't that we didn't believe her, but I was like, maybe
you just can't get your mind
somehow
around it.
Subconsciously she needs to think something and it'll make it stop, but you want answers, and when you can't get them, it's so frustrating. And I remember me and Abby would get mad at each other, and it's because you care about her so much, and you want it to be fixed, and then you get snippy and short, and
the lack of control you have over what's happening.
Yeah, and I tell you what, it's you forget, you want it to be fixed because she can be healthy, but the sheer happiness she has right now of I went to practice and then nothing happened. It was good, and I'm jumping.
She's worried.
I'm jumping off both feet
She's
now.
waiting for it.
Yeah, and I mean, you guys know last year basketball, like she hobbled into the state tournament, and
She wasn't herself.
and she played a lot of minutes, but like a lot of people don't know, she didn't do shit the month before.
Right.
And she didn't jump in the lineup because it stopped. She jumped in the lineup because we thought we had enough evidence that it couldn't get hurt worse.
Right.
Right.
And I mean, hopefully that's not. I mean, I think if it was just up to Abby, then she would have been like, "You ain't playing,"
Yeah.
And thank goodness nothing happened. And I mean, she really wanted to play. And
Her hand was open at that point, right?
Yep. And
She couldn't have played with her hand closed.
no. And at that time, Coach Leary and Coach Stussy were really on top of it. Like they followed what we were doing and how's it going and what can we do to help and what should she not do and what should she do. So they were really good about it. And she had teammates. I remember she'd sit on the bench and put her foot up, and Bailey would, or Sydney or Bailey would like push or rub here to try to get it to settle down. And
with the research you've done, what do you think it is in the BPC TB that is helping it?
I think
Inflammation?
Absolutely, 100% inflammation. And people think, well, inflammation is,
You see something
I
swollen
punch
on your
somebody
body.
and now my knuckles swollen.
Swollen.
And I mean, I've read studies that say all of us are, 70% inflation, and we don't know it because it's it's normal for us. In inflation, it can be your skin, it can be your muscles, it can be your joints, it can be all of that stuff. And the science behind it is not something I'm going to get into, but I research it up and down. And anybody, you hear people say, well, it's not FDA approved and this, that, and the other. Well, I mean, the FDA lets people sell cigs and booze.
Yeah.
What the fuck does the FDA know?
Twinkies.
What do they know? You can.
What is it? The measles, mumps, rubella vaccination? I don't think is FDA approved. Or
Right. So
a lot of shit.
I understand why you would put stock in that, but I do not. But I do my own research.
As you should.
And if you really want to ask the question of why there's negative press on peptides, and I mean I can tell you right now,
Big Pharma,
and the reason why that is what was the first ever peptide that ever came out? Ozempic, right? GLP-1. This is how you get skinny, and it works, and people do it, and it works. Okay, Ozempic is a drug for diabetes. So I can't remember the big pharma company. It's a company out of Denmark.
It's not Merck and it's not Lilly, but it's the one it's a Novartis.
No, I can't think of it. But
I think that's also how Retta was created.
What's that?
Not Pfizer.
No, it's not. It's one of the big five, but it's not a. They're out of Denmark. I know that.
Okay.
But how do these guys make money? Well, they patent them, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they patented Ozempic, which is technically a peptide, but it's the problem with patenting peptides is they naturally are made in your body. So you can't say I made this or
Right.
I invented this because
Correct.
it's your body or God made it or so you can't patent it. Well, then there ain't no fucking money in it.
Right.
Okay, so now why are they mad at all the the gray market sales that are going on right now? Because they're pissed because
Well, it's just like when Eli Lilly gets Retta FDA approved, he doesn't have a patent on the formula to
Exactly.
make Retta
That's why China can make it.
because it's a natural amino in your body.
Exactly right, and it makes perfect sense. So why why is the government slow playing this? Why actually they just approved like 6 of them, which is all it's all RFK, the new health
Is he
initiative.
pro or anti?
Pro,
He's
big
pro.
pro. But this is not something that's just new in the last 5-10 years. These things have been around for 20, 25, 30
Yes.
years. Well, why were they hidden from us? Money, that's why. That's a fact. Big Pharma wants their name on it so they can cash in on it. Now it's kind of an open, free market the way it should be. It's no difference than somebody that wants to get pregnant and they take shot to help
Fertility drug.
a fertility drug, and it costs $15,000 in Sioux City, Iowa. But if you go to the right
Mexico.
doctor in Mexico, it's $80.
Right.
It's the same fucking drug.
Right.
I mean, that's criminal.
That's a whole different.
It is.
with you there.
If I start talking about that, I'll need a session from Ben to get me calmed down. But it's, I'm not telling anybody what to do, but
Have an open mind.
have an open mind. Do your own research. I tell you what, I lost 95 pounds.
Wow.
I was off.
Tell that.
I was off all my medications, and I could not get my my cholesterol in check. And I could go on a cholesterol kick here too. That don't listen to the doctor on their one number. They go, if you're over 100, you need you got to get on statins and make you feel like you freaking drank poison that day or whatever. But so do your research on that too. And but I still couldn't even, there's a lot of factors that go into cholesterol. Cholesterol is what carries B12, to your body. So you don't want to get rid of all cholesterol, or you can't take in the sun's energy, which is one of the best things you can do. Another thing I do in the morning is I go outside and not stare at it, but go out and get some direct sunlight.
Yep.
Yeah.
And it's just little shit like that doesn't cost any money. It can make a huge difference. Now I got distracted with that. But so I
went back to your doctor.
Yeah, and while you can switch from a statin to this, and I was at that point I was like, I ain't taking no more shit. I ain't taking no more medicine from and I'm not anti-doctor. If I fall down the stairs when I leave here and break my leg, I'd have you guys take me to the doctor. Right. So I did a lot of research and I found a peptide that I thought would work, and I ordered it up, and I started low dose. That was retatrutide, which a lot of people think is only for weight loss or appetite suppressant or whatever.
And it does that.
And it does do that, but there's a huge list of things that it does positively. One of the biggest things I think is it helps with methylation of minerals and vitamins that your body, it's like if you drink a shitload of milk and then you have a vitamin C deficiency. Well, why is that? You're getting enough of the vitamin. That's why, if you go to the vitamin store and you're like, well, my blood test said I'm low on this, well, I'm going to take this. Well, if your body can't absorb it,
that's the problem.
That's the problem.
It's not the lack of.
Right. So, anyway, what it helped me with was the methylation product pathway in my body. So I take a very low dosage, and I take it very intermittently. For all you fuckers out there saying Kemp lost his weight from retatrutide, I was down 95 before I ever tried retatrutide. But it did fix my cholesterol, and it fixed it in 7 days. I took 2 doses of I think 8 cc's or something.
Very low.
Very low. I took a Tuesday and I took a Thursday, and then that Saturday I retested cholesterol, and it was all within limits. I continued use at like a 5 cc for the next month probably, and then it, I was testing myself probably every 2 weeks, and stayed good, and then I kind of went to 1 a week, and then I think I just ran out of it. And I was like, well, fuck, I'll just go without it. And I probably went 3-4 months without it, and it stayed good. And then it crept up again, and then I was like, I better get some more of this. And but I use it on a very limited basis. But I mean, that's something that is fixed. If you take these statins and you feel aches and pains. And I mean, the trade-off is an extreme trade-off.
Yeah.
These medicines that they shove down our throat, there's consequences to taking those, and the more you can stay off of, the better, in my opinion.
We have a customer takes retatrutide, type 1 diabetic, wears an insulin pump, since he's been 4 years old, and he started at the beginning of summer on Retta, wanted to lose 30 pounds. He's a college athlete. And I said, hey, man, I was talking to him just last week. I said, give me your testimonial here. Obviously he did the research prior to getting on Retta with his kidney doctor, right? And she's like, yeah, should be fine. So loses 30 pounds, puts on good muscle, goes to his doctor at the end of summer, and best A1C numbers he's had in like years since he can remember. Down 0.3 or something was his A1C.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean,
Yeah, I went
true
to my,
testimonial right there that, and I think Retta was also created for diabetes drug or something.
Yeah, all
you know?
GLPs are insulin.
Yeah, that's their original use.
Yeah.
But the reason that one crept out is because they, I don't know if they somehow got it patented in certain ways so they could cash in on that. You
Sure.
know? So that's what it is. It's money and it's control, and it sucks, but people need to do their research. And, I used to, and I would say it to myself too, but I'd be like, geez, if I was that fat, I'd freaking get my ass to the track, or I'd stop eating Twinkies, or,
So hard to
or
do.
all that stuff that you want to say.
The sugar addiction is, I think, the hardest addiction
Absolutely.
in the world to
Absolutely.
stop.
And sugar's in everything that you wouldn't think it's in, and
Bread.
cancer
Holy
cells
shit.
cannot survive without sugar. If there was no sugar, there would be no cancer. I mean,
Right.
that's a medical fact.
Mm-hmm.
But where I was going, Taylor, absolutely that's true. But some of these people can't help it. Like, if their body's not running the right way, you can lay off sugar and you can not eat, and you're still
Right.
going to fucking get fat.
Yeah.
And
And there's
so
some people the GLP won't help.
yeah. And the reason, in my opinion, would be, and Gary Brecka's opinion would be, you're trying to fix the wrong thing.
Okay.
So you have to get down to like a mineral level. And, it's amazing what the human body can do. And that is like, that's Brecka's big thing, is step one is let your body do the work. Don't immediately go to the doctor and get medicine.
Right.
He would say get labs and get in. That lab thing. Raylan got labs 15
sure.
times, and they're all normal. Well, they ain't doing the right fucking labs.
Right.
So if you take a deep dive and you get down to that mineral vitamin deficiency level, that's the start. And like all this stuff that's all this ADHD and all the Crohn's disease and leaky gut and irritable bowel and all this shit. Where did that come from?
I don't know. The food we eat, the processing.
I think so, but absolutely that's part of it. But I also think it's not identifying. We're not getting the minerals we used to because of the food we ate,
Right.
And because of the long.
Do you think there was ADHD back in like the 20s?
How about in the 70s?
Like, what were the kids with ADHD like in the 1920s? Like, they just go home and their parents beat the shit out of them, straighten them out.
I don't know.
Ben, what's your thoughts
Boss?
there?
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Obviously
they were
undiagnosed, right? It probably wasn't even a thing.
No, and it probably wasn't really as much of a thing. They were outside playing, eating dirt, grounded.
Sure.
They weren't.
Getting sunlight.
There wasn't all this processed food. They were growing their own food. They were working on the farm. So I don't think it really did exist.
I agree with that 100%.
Possibly, yeah.
I mean, I think that, and every kid, whether they were naughty or not, got the shit beat out of them when they got home.
Look at
Don't spare the whip.
Look at how we turned out, like emotionless and can't handle our mental problems and all that.
What's
stuff.
the next generation going to, like, what's, Logan's generation? How are they going to raise their kids? And what's going to be
We'll find out in about 5
the
years.
big difference is, well, when they're in mid-40s. Early 50s.
I tell my kids once a week, and I think I got this from Dana White or somebody, but I was like, if you can be a tiny bit of a savage person in the real world, you will dominate because everybody else is a bunch of pussies. And that's just a fact, man.
It is.
I was talking to my mom the other day, and my dad was in the background or whatever, and we're like, and we weren't being mean or anything, but I was like, college is really hard for these kids, and they get that homesick feeling, and it's real, man, and it's tough, and it sucks going away from home and all that stuff, And, you're only 18 years old. And, my dad's in the background. He's like, oh, I was 18. I was in Vietnam.
Right.
There wasn't no phone to call home. And I thought about that. Like, he was joking, obviously, but that's a true story.
That's
Yeah,
the
he's
last
not lying.
conflict.
Can you imagine?
Every generation from that generation forward had to fight in a war.
Like, we all have sons. Can you imagine sending one of their 18-year-old
No.
asses to war?
No,
we would lose.
It was expected.
It's like, go do your duty. See you in a couple years.
Hope so.
Okay.
Yeah.
You might die if you do.
But think
say
about
your
that.
prayers.
Every generation before that was in some kind of conflict where that was expected. You're going to lose a kid in war.
And I'm not taking anything away from like the Iraq War and
You're right.
But
You're right.
The
My bad.
huge casualties and the whatever of
That's true.
Vietnam's like
Yeah.
That's ground combat. That's
Yes.
gotta be
Yeah.
done.
And
Obviously, soldiers are still,
doing their deed,
killed in action.
and
Yeah.
God bless them all. And
but the
Absolutely.
mass
thank 'em.
casualties of like Vietnam and
Right.
World War II.
Yeah, just because of technology and the way they go to war and
Yeah.
all that stuff is different now. But I mean, I'm certainly not taking anything away from them. But
Would you let your kid go to the military now?
I think so.
Yeah, I would too.
I think it's a good deal and a good program, and it certainly
There's good benefits there.
benefits, and it helps them grow up and become a.
But
a
you would
good,
feel safe that he would probably not get killed in war.
I think I would try to take that out of it because I think that you shouldn't anyway, in my opinion, and I don't know, but you shouldn't be like, well, I want to go to the military for all the benefits, but I absolutely don't want to go to war. Well, that's part of the deal, you know.
I bet you 75% of the kids sign up for the benefits.
Oh, for sure.
Free
But
college.
deep down, whether they want to admit it or not, they know there's a shot at it. A good friend of mine from high school, college wasn't his thing, and he didn't, that wasn't his thing. He didn't want to do that anymore, and he went to the military, and he ended up being a ranger, and it changed his whole life. It got him on track to do what he wants to do and all that. But I know that he has some
Stories.
storage in the old brain that he'll have to deal with that forever,
Yeah.
But yeah, my old man, those guys, I can't imagine. Like, they packed up. I think my uncle told me one time they packed up to go to the draft, and I was a history major and I didn't know this, but like the draft is like spin the balls.
You got numbers. A lot of
Yeah.
numbers.
204. You're going to Nam.
So Social Security numbers, right? Like
Front line, bitch.
first three of your Social Security number. Or
Yeah, and I think they were down there, and I think they were going to call 500 out of like 2,000. I think it was in Omaha or maybe it was in Sioux Falls, but mom and dad and the kids all go, and you get your number, and then they spin the deal, and they called his name first, and
Very first.
very first. I think my uncle said, "Yeah." Grandpa said, "Well, we don't have to wait around anymore. Let's go." And 2 weeks later, he gets on an airplane and flies
Holy
to
shit.
Fort Benning or whatever, does basic training, and gets done there, goes to Nam. 18 months later, he comes home.
It's crazy.
This
dude.
is your dad?
Yeah, that's a man's
insane.
game.
Yeah.
So your dad's
18 years old.
78?
7. He'll be 78 in November.
Yeah, because my dad's like 2 years younger than that, and he said he just missed it. I mean, he was.
What was his?
He was in the 101st
MO.
Airborne.
Wow.
Jumped out of plane?
Jumped out of
So
planes.
he was in the shit.
Oh, in the shit.
Does he talk about it?
No, very little. But since cancer and stuff, he, you take chemo and all that, and I don't know what chemo does. It obviously tries to kill the cancer, but it also fucks everything else
It
up
does.
inside of you. So he got neuropathy, but he also, like, since chemo, he has tons of night terrors,
Really?
stuff like that. But I think it was suppressed for a very long time, and then, when you get older, you reflect on some of that shit. But if I brought it up to him when I was a teenager and wanted to get to the bottom of it, he'd always be like, "Wow, my last few months there, I drove truck, and then, we'd be driving through the city or the dirt roads, or driving the mud puddle and splash the Viet Cong ladies trying to carry their groceries," and we'd laugh about that. But what happened the first 15 months,
Yeah.
I asked him one time, "How come you don't ever get together with all your guys in the 101st Airborne in your platoon or whatever?" He goes, I do. I stay in touch with Kenny over in Wisconsin. I said, well, what about everyone else? He said, everyone else died. It just stuff like that is like, geez.
Eye opener.
So yeah, very, very different world. And I think ours it's better that our kids don't have to go through that shit, but we have to compensate somehow because, now the entitlement is high, like, and it's not, we're softer than our dads were, I think.
Yeah.
And now our kids are softer than us, but
that's where I was going with that question. The next generation, how soft are they going to raise their kids? Like, where's it going to end?
I don't know. But
what's the right balance, Ben? Maybe you got.
They're going to do what they have to do.
Well, so as men for generations now, we've had our swords out, ready for fucking battle, bloodlust. And one thing that we worked on, that I work on with all my clients with anger issues like I have, a lot of us have managed, is being a warrior in a garden. Eventually you take off the armor and just have the sword and you fight for noble causes.
Yeah.
Not just fighting to feel like a man.
Makes sense.
So I think the next generation, from what I see, first of all, like my nieces, they are on Do Not Disturb all the time. They've turned their phones to black and white. They have certain hours that they self-limit for social media because they see the damage that it's doing to their parents and the generation for them. So I think there's a book called The Fourth Turning that talks about these cycles where there's a generation that's just like, fuck this. I'm not suffering like the people before me. So they might not be as tough, even though they're in the gym, athletic. Yeah. They just don't want to fight, but they're like the warrior in the garden.
I think there is more of a focus on fitness with the younger generation than there was ours.
I agree.
And booze drinking is way, way, way down, like 70% down with millennials.
They have no fun compared to us.
No, they have phones that can record everything is why.
Yeah, they play Fortnite and
no privacy.
Ben, do you have any, young adults as clients? Any athletes?
They're not fucked up enough yet.
No, I've worked with the mentality for some performance individuals. Nobody under no high school kids yet. I mean, I'd love to. Right? Like that mentality is everything. And one thing that with the neural pathway wiring, it's funny because working with Corey, he'd say, I love how you taught me to build a new exit and take an off ramp to the warehouse so I can get rid of this shit and not carry it. I never said that. He turned it into giving me credit for it, but I'm like, we're building new pathways like a super highway.
Yeah.
Right?
That's how I envisioned it. Or
I love it.
Yeah.
I love it. I get way more credit than I deserve from my clients. But then we talked about not needing the warehouse.
Yeah.
Let's process it.
I dumped all my shit off at the warehouse again today. He's like, well, what are you going to do when that warehouse is full? I'm like, well, fuck, I don't know. Tell me what to do.
Burn it down.
Well, there's going to be a radioactive event, and it's going to be all fucked up. So what if we process it at the time? There's no difference in any sort of performance. Something's holding us all back. I'd love to work with more athletes, and I have some, right? Like, I'd love to work with more young athletes outside of foosball. Yeah. But we all have something, right? Like, people pay me for my advice, and I'm morbidly obese, addicted to sugar, battling it. There aren't people as big as me walking around in 10 fucking years. Almost none.
You don't think so?
Dude, who's 60 and I'm 100 pounds lighter than I used to be, up and down, struggling with it. So we all have a struggle that we need help with, right? And maybe that's something, I don't know if you want to take it this direction. What would somebody like me who doesn't like needles and doesn't know anything about these peptides, where do I start?
I mean, one of my kids said this to me because his friends has a heavy father, and he's like, Dad, why wouldn't anyone that's really overweight do retatrutide? I'm like, I don't know, son. That's a good question because it would, I think, help anyone that wanted to lose weight. At least it's a good starting point. I mean, yeah, it's a tiny. I hated needles. No one hates needles more than me. I still can't watch when I have to get a shot or I don't give blood because I'll pass out. I'm that guy that will pass out.
Same.
And it's It's just so worth it.
Otherwise,
it
you'd
will
be calling
work.
me doctor. I went to school to be a doctor and fucking passed out in an operating room.
No, that's not the right career, I guess.
No, but same thing. Like,
Yeah.
so Retatrutide, is there like a couple more that if somebody's struggling
Yeah,
or doesn't
I mean-
know, I want to get back in the gym. I want more energy. I want
course,
to
you
love
know.
myself better.
I always say, hey, let's get the body right first. Let's get rid of that weight that's going to get you injured if you tried to work out. Or,
True.
unless you've been working out while you've been heavy. I mean, you need to lose probably a certain amount of weight to where your body can handle a little bit of work, and it's just a step at a time. Then maybe we get something to help with the energy and the recovery. But I would never just give someone like 8 things to take at once, or recommend 8 different things
Right.
because it's going to overwhelm them, and it's probably not even going to do. It's just going to.
And once they see the results, they come back for more. You know what I mean?
That's
Like,
it.
And Retta, we've never had anybody, I don't think, that Retta hasn't, helped them in a positive way.
There's been a couple, but I mean, either they didn't take it consistently enough, or they're just one of those people that we were talking about earlier that just there's something else.
Is that the same thing he took for cholesterol?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And there's one last thing I want to say about Retatrutide, and it's obviously not on any of the pamphlets you're going to read or anything, but there is something in it that does something with your endorphins and that your body's quest for them. Because I know one guy who's taken it, Taylor knows him well. He told me, he goes, I haven't been to the casino since I started on Retatrutide. I used to go 5 times a week. And I got another guy that told me, hey, is it weird that I don't want to drink anymore, or I don't want to go out and party with my friends? I'm like, no, but is that a bad thing? He's like, no, kind of. I kind of like partying, but I don't want to. So there's something there that, I mean, whether it's food or whatever it is.
And if you can get your body working
Dopamine was what I was
correctly, and cortisol in the morning, and endorphins and all that, when your body does that all on its own, and when it's not doing that, it's because something's goofed up. So whether it be a mineral deficiency, and I'm not saying there's no diseases, because there are, but this notion that, hey, your old man had high blood pressure, and so did your grandpa, and so did grandma, and so did auntie and brother and sister. You're screwed. You're going to have high blood pressure. Well, name the fucking gene that gives you high blood pressure. Name it.
Probably doesn't exist.
There isn't one. There is no blood pressure gene.
Right.
So that whole passing it on from generation to generation is bullshit. Now, can you pass on, like, a deficiency, like, something like that? Yes, but that doesn't mean you're stuck with it.
You can overcome it.
Yeah, so figure out the deficiency. You go down to the building blocks, figure that out, and you can do a lot of stuff without spending a ton of money. If you go to the right people, peptides are very affordable. Like Chris said, don't jump on 10 things at once. Do one thing at a time, and then find out. I took NAD plus because I heard all these great things about it. You wake up energized. You go to sleep better. Blah blah blah. I took it. It didn't do anything for me. So I'm like,
And I love it. So
and you love it. So I'm like, well, I'm
different deficiencies.
I'm done with that. But I would put that 100% at different deficiencies.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Even when I was hammering 100 beers a week and weighed 300 pounds, I still woke up early in the morning.
Yeah.
So
It wasn't an energy issue necessarily.
right. Now at the end of the day, after I code redded all day long, screaming and yelling and raging at everybody, then I was tired.
Mentally exhausted.
Yeah. But I fixed that, and it wasn't no medicine that I took. So I do a few things in the morning for my brain, and
Just think if you didn't meet Ben, or what would happen? You'd probably be on Xanax or freaking some sort of anxiety, depression, whatever shit that the doctor's going to prescribe you, right?
Yeah, and I would call it a perfect storm. Nothing. I had a blow up moment, but I didn't beat anybody up. I didn't go to jail. I didn't do anything crazy, and the people that I raged out on forgave me in 10 minutes. So
Yeah.
But it was, people that I love. I think I scared them because of my rage and yelling and screaming, and
It was another level that you hadn't been to.
yeah, I think so. And I just, I was just like, I'm fucking done with this. Like, I am not going to wake up.
You told me you woke up. You didn't remember anything, but you knew something was fucking bad.
And I knew it was bad. And I so I was like, and when Abby came down, I could see on her face it was bad. And it, it sucks when you're wrong, and it sucks when you do something stupid. I've been very blessed with friends and family and loved ones that have always forgiven me very quickly.
Yeah.
You know, that's just Kemp being Kemp. He'll be fine. You know, which, you know, thank God for them for being so patient and stuff with me. But
You got to the point where I don't think your friends could even contain you. It was very hard for them to, to keep you down at that point. And that's what's like, fuck this, I can't do this anymore, you know,
Yeah, and
he's too big.
I think my biggest thing is I never thought I was irrational. It was like, I'm mad about this, and
This is why.
This is why, and I'm right.
I'm
so
right.
so like this needs to happen to make everything right. And you know, even if that was insane things, I was always justified.
But
It wasn't that I was just like I could explain exactly why I was doing it.
Very short-sighted,
Yeah,
probably.
now, a lot of times the next day when I was 100% sober, my argument lost some strength that it had the night before.
But it was still there.
But deep down, I was still like, well, fuck, I was right.
Yeah.
If he wouldn't have done that,
Corey,
or
would you wake up?
if she wouldn't have done that, then I wouldn't have to do this.
Right. I
would,
get it.
Would you wake up with regret and apologetic, or was that not your style?
Oh, absolutely, I would. I was quick apology guy. I had no issue with that. I mean, you feel like a dumb fuck, you know, and
Ain't a worse
And
feeling in the world.
and I honestly was sorry.
Yeah.
But it would be like, I'm sorry that had to happen.
Oh, shit.
Are you really sorry? You know, it'd be like, Taylor, I'm sorry that.
Sorry,
had
I
to
told you
happen
the truth.
because
Yeah.
of what you fucking did. You made me do that, and now I'm sorry for that.
Right,
you know,
right.
it was that kind of stuff. It was.
A little bit of no,
I was just.
no responsibility.
It goes to I knew everything. I was right. It didn't matter who I was arguing with. They were wrong. If they weren't with me, they were fucking against me. Period. The
you
end.
don't feel that way anymore?
Not at all. I mean, I think it's human nature that you think you're right.
No, I mean, but they're not with me, they're against me.
No,
That line?
I'm still a heavy loyalty guy.
Yeah.
I think another big issue I had, and I'll let Ben touch on this, but I thought, and all my years, my friends might say, "Oh, he's a lunatic sometimes, and he loses his shit, and he does dumb stuff." But they will also say, like, he is the most loyal motherfucker. Like,
Oh, yeah.
like he's the guy when you come home and you say, "Hey, I can't tell you what we're gonna do, but."
Yeah.
You know, we got to go, and we're going to go hurt some people. And I said, which car are we taking?
Yeah,
You know,
yeah.
I think that movie is Town or something. But, like, I'm that guy. But not everybody is that way. So I had to learn that, like, just because I would do something that I considered being loyal, that doesn't mean everybody's that way. And that doesn't mean they're bad. And that doesn't mean I'm good. It just means that, you know, you're different. And
That's what's important to you.
loyalty is very important to me, but I have a new understanding for it.
Not blind loyalty.
Yeah, not blind. You know, and I think everybody has their few people where you can be like, you know, he'll run through a fucking wall for me without whether I'm right, wrong, or the other.
Yeah.
And I think maybe 20 people have me for that. Well, then I'd be like, well, who's my fucking guy?
Yeah,
you know,
right.
and if anyone challenged me, like, could be my best friend in the world, if he challenged me, I'd be like, fuck, he's against me, you know. You know, he's not the guy anymore. He's on the list, kicking his ass
He's on the
tomorrow.
list.
You know, this just very, very, very irrational thinking. You know, everybody's different, and that's a good thing. So yeah, like the loyalty thing. There's a lot of ways to be loyal.
Yeah.
You know, it's like, hey, I got in financial trouble. Is the only person that's loyal the one that can give you money? No, because some people don't have the fucking money to give you. You know, that doesn't mean they're bad. That doesn't mean they're not there for you. So I just think, and it sounds stupid while I'm saying it out loud, you know, but like these are the light bulb moments I would have with Coach Ben over here where I would be like, Jesus, that's right. Like, why do I think that? Like, you know, and it just opened my mind to, you know, it's okay if they think stuff, and and maybe there's a point to that. And you know, I haven't walked in their shoes. I don't know what the fuck they're going through. Maybe they're not soft. Maybe they're not weak. Maybe they're dealing with something that I have no idea about. Where before I was, everything is black and white.
Mm-hmm.
You know, everything. Well, you're either this or you're that. The end. And it's nothing's that simple. That's the thing. Nothing's that simple. You don't know people's stories, and I think I'm a lot less judgmental towards people. you know, like I said earlier, I see a big guy, but I want that fat ass get on the treadmill. What the fuck's wrong with him? You know, it's like, well, I can't get to the track because I can't.
My knees
shot. Well, your knees shot because you weighed 4 bills, motherfucker. You know, that's how simple it was to me.
Yeah, black and white.
You know, and I felt like I could do that because, you know, that one day I felt like I was overweight. So I went and ran 15 miles. You know what I did? I lost 35 pounds in 8 days.
Jesus.
But that's not because I'm strong-willed. That's because I'm fucking crazy.
Yeah.
You know, or that's because I was on the wrong road or whatever you call it, you know. You know, so it's, I think the biggest thing I have right now is emotional awareness, where I always thought no matter what, you know, my cousin died, I was mad. My friend died, I was mad. My dad got cancer, I was mad. What? I wasn't mad all the time. Sometimes I was sad. Sometimes and sometimes I had questions about shit, but I just buried it because I didn't want to show any weakness. And, you know, I still like I'm embarrassed. I went to my cousin's, a very close cousin of mine. He died in a tragic accident. I went to his funeral, and I sat there the whole fucking time, and like I was like, "Come on, motherfucker, cry!" I'm like, "What's wrong with you?" Like, you know, and then you're like, I just don't have it.
It's there.
You know, it's somewhere. My brother was behind me, you know, and he's crying, and I got up and I comforted him, and I was like, "Come on, man." You know, I don't know. It's not a healthy thing.
You hug your kids?
Absolutely.
All the time?
Absolutely. I remember this. You guys will get a kick out of this one, but I want him to kind of touch on some of that shit I just talked about. But I started dating Abby way in high school, and the first time I think I met her family and stuff, it was hugging and loving, and I went to my older sister's house, and she was married with kids and stuff, and she was like, "How'd it go, you know, meeting Abby's family?" I was like, "Oh, it was good." I was like, "They're freaking weird, man." And she's like, my sister's like, "Well, what do you mean?" I was like, "Fucking hugging, and whenever they leave, they say, 'I love you,' and all this shit." I was like, "It's freaking weird." And I remember she was staring at me, and I was like, "What?" And she's like, "That's not weird." She's like, "We're the fucking weird." I was like, "What?" I was like, "People behave like that all over the place."
That's funny.
And I tell you what, man, Abby really led our household in that side of things. I love you. I hug you. Be vulnerable. Be emotional. And I mean, Logan is 18 years old, a young man. And after a basketball game, when all of his friends and all the student section is standing there, he'll walk right up to Grandma and Grandpa or Nana or whoever and give them a big hug and say, "Hey, I love you. Yeah. Thanks for coming." And like, I would have never done that shit. Mm-hmm. Like, I would have been like, "Oh, give me some nuts. I'm fucking out of here," type deal. And I tell you what, they're better people for it. Abby did. I give Abby all the credit for that. Like they are way more emotionally aware than their old man. Yeah. And thank God for Abby for that. But now I'm learning, and they know I am, and I get better at it every day. But
hey Ben, why don't you just
Matt is the
wrap
second.
us up here and let people know if you want to get contacted or whatever.
Cool. Mad is a secondary emotion, almost always. And isn't it fucked up that as men we were trained to like be okay showing that?
Anger.
That's masculine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
you're right.
How powerful is it to stop giving up all your fucking power, and instead of grabbing the crowbar and saying which car we're taking, the people who are really loyal to you are saying, "Is this a good idea? Does this serve you? What's going to happen?
What's the positives that are going to come out of this?"
Your best fucking friends say the things to you that are uncomfortable. Yeah. Whether you believe it or not, they're not sitting there green-lighting your shitty behavior. Your best friends challenge when you're on the wrong path. Those are the people in my fucking circle now. Mm-hmm. And it's small. I used to have a big circle. They didn't give a fuck about me. I was a good time at the party.
Yeah.
But that circle shrinks when you realize who really cares about you and will say the hard things. And we start dropping these limiting beliefs, evacuating our power, walking around weaponized, ready for fucking battle, and start truly getting past the anger into the real root, right? What's your nutrient deficiency? What are you really going after? We got to have this data.
Mm-hmm.
If I can't tell myself I'm sad or scared, and here's what happens, guys. You start getting comfortable being yourself, embracing emotions, maybe crying in public. It's terrifying for most men, right?
It is.
Embarrassing.
Yeah. Why?
I don't know.
Shows weakness.
You're human.
I could cry right now, probably. I could, unlike you, I could probably cry, but I've been fighting it off my whole life. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's powerful to let that go. What a release. It's beautiful. You feel better after. The embarrassment fades quickly,
Yeah.
right? And that's a real man to me. How brave is that? Right? We drop these limiting beliefs, stop judging myself for being authentically me, put down the extra weight, and then you could do weird shit like put fucking weight on for your workout because you're not carrying all the baggage all the time. And be a psycho in a different way that serves you, your community, your family, the people you love.
Makes sense.
And then when I stop judging myself, and when the guy fucking flips me off in the highway, instead of judging him, I care about him. I'm not trying to fucking follow him to his house or I have to show him a lesson. I'm like, man, that guy is hurting. He's going to need a nap later.
Yeah.
Yeah, the first time you said that, I was like, I'll never fucking be that guy.
No.
Now I'm just like, man, that dude, he's gonna have a heart attack, man. He's just, you either got to wake up a little bit earlier for work, or you got to take it easy on the road, though, dude. You know. And I never thought I'd think that way, but holy cow! And I guess my wrap up to this, and everyone else can go again, but I think a lot of, Ben said it way early in this podcast, and it's not easy to say, hey, I went and saw this guy because of X, Y, and Z. But what resonated with me, what he said is, like, there's a pandemic of struggling men, 30 to 60 or whatever.
Yeah.
And I tell you what, man, I was one of them. And
Undiagnosed pandemic.
absolutely. And you bury your feelings, and then you have a massive heart attack when you're 48, and you're like, what happened? He seemed healthy. Well, physically he looked okay, but internally he was killing himself. And the mind is a powerful thing. There's many studies that say if you just think about working out, it's a benefit to your body.
Really?
Well, what if you're thinking, murder, death, kill, and sword fighting and cutting everybody and blood on the sword and rage all day,
Inflicting pain.
Think how detriment that is to your body. So. If I can come on here and get some people introduced to Ben and, share my embarrassing stuff that I did and suffered through or whatever.
And we haven't even touched on the real good stuff.
Yeah. I'm not ready to get into details, but I think there's people out there, though, and if they need something, they need to reach out to any of us.
Ben, are you taking
certainly to
new
Ben.
clients?
Selectively. I'll give anybody 15 minutes to see if it's a mutual fit. And I'll drop my contact and say a couple more things. So send me an email. It's Benjamen, but it's BENJ. Amen. Like you finish your prayers.
AMEN.
Yeah, spelled
IN?
real weird. No, my bank's called and said, hey, we fixed the way your name was spelled on your account. So like it's the way you finish your prayers is the end of my name, Benjamen like that, dot Crawford, CRAWFORD. So Benjamen.Crawford at gmail.com.
I'll put it in there.
If you like anything we've talked about. And the beautiful thing is when you start getting real with yourself, dropping the bullshit, taking the weight of the armor and the mask off, you don't have to fucking wake up and feel guilty for the way you handled things. It might be embarrassing. It might be hard to rewire those pathways to say, like, you know what? What if divine masculine looks more like embracing some of the qualities of your wife or girlfriend or sister and being real? Because, dude, we're having heart attacks at a higher rate than the women. I mean, we're fucking killing ourselves.
Well, their life expectancy is 3 years higher than a man. So,
Hey,
It's
what was
crazy.
your line? Be a warrior of the garden.
Be a garden. You can be a warrior in the garden.
Be a warrior in the garden.
And be
the
prepared.
noble cause.
Prepared for battle if somebody attacks your village. But you don't need to go to the fucking neighboring village and rape, pillage, and plunder. Have the blood dripping out of the bottom of your sheath all the time. That's not what makes you a
That was
man.
my favorite. I said that.
That one's like, oh,
You know what I
don't
mean.
remember exactly what he said. But
Well, I like the
You're
part you don't
right.
have to give the sword up.
No, why would we? What if somebody?
Once in a while.
What if some fucking wounded masculine dude comes to rape, plunder, and pillage your village?
Yeah, I get you.
I mean, we're gonna defend our people, right? But we ain't going looking for trouble,
Right.
because that shit sucks. It's heavy. It's dis-ease, and it only leads to disease, right? So you don't have to suffer alone. And I'm proud of this guy, man. Like, he's done the work.
What was your first impression of him, if you can say that or not?
He fucking walked in red as shit and terrified. Like, he didn't want to do this, but he knew something had to change. I mean, dude, second, third session, I'm like, your skin's glowing. You look a different color. I love what I do, man, because I feel like a hypocrite if I'm not taking my own advice. And I get to watch people change fast with every session. This stuff happens fast
yeah.
when you're aware of
When
it.
they're
and choose
willing.
different. Yeah, and or even if you're stubborn like me, stubborn like a lot of us, right? If you're willing to be aware that I'm going down the path that makes me feel like shit and make tiny little decisions, it's crazy how fast the new highway, neural pathway gets built, right? It ain't as hard as you think.
Just make it the right decision every time. Just stack them up. Good decision after good decision.
And you'll see it happen faster than you think. The thing that came away from coffee last weekend with this guy for me that made me weep tears of joy on the way home. Might start doing it right now. So his son had a transformative period recently, and he's like, you know what's crazy? He's been calling to talk to me. He built, in the time of a few months, a safe fucking space instead of being this terrifying creature to show his son how to really be a man without the sword out in a few months.
Yeah.
I mean, I'd like to let him wrap it up and say nothing else. Get a hold of me if you want to stop suffering alone, and we'll see if it's mutually aligned. But how does it feel to have your son be able to be safe talking to you and not fucking pushing him up the hill?
Yeah, that's what it's all about, you know, and the relationship I have with my wife and kids now is so much better than, you know, when you're living that way, you don't realize that it's not good until you see how fucking good it can be.
Sure.
You know, just general conversation. Just I can go to dad with this problem, not just mom. Just stuff like that. Stuff I didn't know I was missing out on. You know, Logan was so honest with me through this stuff, and I know that had to have been nerve-wracking for him because he was waiting for, you know, toughen up, Sally,
Yeah.
get your shit together and man up. And what's crazy is I think back on it, I was never close to saying that because in my opinion he was manning up because he wasn't running, he was like talking through it, you know, and stuff. So and. You know, staying calm, and it all turned out really good in the end. And who knew yelling, screaming, and flipping over shit isn't the right thing to do to make things better. But I think there's a lot of people out there that, as silly as that sounds, you know, maybe have the same, maybe not as loud and stuff as me, but they still have it. You know, they bury it. You hear about it every day. You know, did you hear so and so killed themselves or so and so?
Yeah.
You know. Lost their mind, and you know, like, well, geez, we never would have thought it was him. Well, he was carrying some shit then, right? So, I mean, it's something that we all have to face, and you know, the whole mental illness thing is real, and it's as real as it gets, and it's as dangerous as it gets if you don't do something.
That's a good point.
One more thing that's important. So, like, Corey built a safe space for his son to be authentic. This is the only person that anybody in the world knows, unless they told their friends, that I worked with you. I provide everyone a non-disclosure. It's very important that it's your secret.
Yeah.
And I don't expect anyone else to be as brave as this guy and sharing it.
Sure.
Right? It can.
One of a
Nobody
kind.
has to know.
And that goes back to the first podcast. I text Ben and I was like, hey,
You asked him.
can I say why a lot of this shit happened for me?
That's when I found out.
And you guys didn't know.
Nope.
And that took some soul searching. Like, you know, because I could have easy went and been like, I quit drinking, I started working out,
Yeah.
I fixed it all
I
myself.
just decided to.
I'm the man. And
Look how mentally strong I am.
but I was like, no, that's what the old crazy fucker would do. So you're gonna do the honest thing
It had to be hard.
and do it. So
That's courage.
No, I know, 100%. I love it.
Any rapid fires, or are we?
I'm gonna wrap this up. It's almost 2 hours, and I know Kemp's got to get back to
Yeah.
work. And
Appreciate you guys coming in.
your
Thanks
time-
for having us.
time
Keep
Been a
flew.
great.
keep this thing going. I didn't even really know about it until I was on the first time, but I caught up on some episodes, and I tell you what, Jake Milton was outstanding on here. I think the most recent one was
Colt Frank.
Trey or
Yeah.
Colt, the younger one.
Yeah.
I love that.
That was good.
Good stuff.
Just so much stuff I didn't know. Yeah. I mean, it wasn't such like a serious one, but
No.
Yeah.
it was very knowledgeable, very interesting, and
It's an area you don't think about very
when I
much.
saw him on there, I was like, I wonder what that kid's doing, and just cool stuff. And then I got to hear a lot of stuff about Trey and what he's doing, and so I hope you guys keep it rocking.
We're
Can
gonna
we-
try, buddy.
Can we get you officially as a co-host in case I can't make it one of these days, Kemp?
Absolutely.
All right.
This 11 a.m. shit doesn't work for the 8 to 5 guy like me though. So
Have to do a Saturday or Sunday.
maybe do Saturday, Sunday, or give me a.
Or if you think of a guest you want to do it with me, we'll do that.
Yeah,
that'd be great.
I think there's a lot of people out there that would be really beneficial, and there's some smart guys, and I think it all could tie back into this. There's some hurting dudes out there, and,
Yeah.
and not to say there's not hurting gals out there either, but like, Ben has said it, like it's real, and I think guys can help guys easier than any other way.
I would agree with that.
So.
Vitality Peptides USA.com or vitalityresearch.org if you guys want to research any peptides on our website,
Just vitalityresearch.org.
vitalityresearch.org. Hit us up.
It's a real deal. Check it out.
Some good information on there.
We're gonna send this one to the internet.
Thanks, guys.
Send it to the internet.
Ben. Thanks, Corey.
Appreciate you, boys.
Kemp.
You bet, guys.
Wow, that was a.